The Piedmont Healthcare COVID Task Force in Atlanta, Georgia. Dr. Morgan, thank you so much for being here. There seems to be so many things to be worried about, right? There seems to be so many things to be worried about with this new surge. I, of course, am a parent. I have several kids who are school age. My anxiety centered around my children going back to the classroom on Monday. Do you think schools are prepared for this? And what advice can you give parents like me to help keep their kids safe?
So I think when we're thinking about these children returning to school, and you are a parent, as so many of us are parents, we certainly have concerns. We always want to do the best for our children. So the number one thing that you can do is to get your children vaccinated, and probably even ahead of that, for the parents to be vaccinated, to make certain that you have a vaccinated household. And that's the number one thing. The second thing you can do is to make certain that your children are masked when they are in their school environment, if your school is going to be in person. We certainly understand very clearly the mental toll, the mental anguish that this has taken on our youth. And when this is all said and done, it will really be unclear what will be the damage of the emotional and mental toll on our children because of lack of socialization and interaction, and the odd way in which we have lived and interacted for the last 2 years. And so we absolutely want to encourage, if we can, children to be in school as long as there can be a safe environment, well ventilated, spaced, that type of thing. And vaccines and boosters are at the top of the list of providing safety, not just for the children, but their households as well.
Yeah, all three of mine have been vaccinated, which came as a great relief. Well, we've seen Omicron begin to level off in countries like South Africa, where it was first discovered. You know, it seems that it's arcing pretty quickly. Is that something that could happen here in the United States, or could we see the impact of Omicron be different depending on vaccination rates in different parts of the country?
And that's something, Ryan, that we are watching very closely. Our demographic in the United States is different than South Africa. They tend to skew a bit younger. They tended to have more unvaccinated people than we did as well. And so it's difficult to compare. That's more of an apples to oranges comparison. In some ways, our population mirrors that of the UK. And as we've seen what has happened in the United Kingdom ahead of us, we tend to parallel that. One of the things that we may see is this exhaustion of the susceptible, this term, exhaustion of the susceptible in science, meaning that we might see this virus blow in and blow out. But in doing so, similar to a tornado, it leaves a lot of destruction in its path. This exhaustion of the susceptible. And that is part of what we're seeing now with this volume of positive cases, which, by the way, is being grossly underreported. If you look at the profits that Abbott posted for the third quarter, 46.8%, 1.9 billion in just testing, 1.6 billion of that is rapid test. And you look at what that means when we look at units. That means probably 60 million units sold at about $25. That's probably close to 120 million tests that people are doing at home that probably are not being registered anywhere. They are being thrown into the trash. So we are grossly underreporting and underestimating what the volume is of Omicron and Delta here in our society. But we are watching as we see this surge continue to rise. The sheer volume of this particular variant has the ability to overwhelm our healthcare systems.
All right, Dr. Jane Morgan, hopefully we aren't still talking about this on New Year's Day of next year, but we shouldn't make any predictions. So we thank you so much for your expertise here this morning, and have a Happy New Year.
Thank you. Happy New Year, Ryan.
All right.